everybody. Welcome to Banner and Chance, where it's all about banter and chance. Joining me are these four wonderful individuals. We've got Brad and Aiden, Shady and Luna. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to hop right into it. There was a lot of things going on last week that I think really progressed the party, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So, last week on Banner and Chance, our party found themselves in Keep's Sorrow after crossing the Moonsea. They were able to pick up the trail of the Grey Patriots, which held hostage Kane's Uncle Burkle. They also attracted the attention of a former jailer of Grimshackle Jail, Bevik, a halfling that then sought to extort money from the party in return for silence around an implication that they were responsible for the murder of the brother of one of the Grey Patriot commodores who was there in the town and quite enraged. Kane and Rogar set about negotiating the price of his silence and were able to successfully negotiate it down to 2/5 the price in order to pay him off without violence. But Geen and Rund had other plans. Geen skillfully distracted Kane by planting a kiss at the right time, as Runt took matters into her own hands, entered the barber shop of Bilcorn Ordame, and proceeded to attempt to intimidate Bevik Grimshackle into remaining silent. But he'd have none of it. And Runt then attacked as she held a dagger to his throat. A scuffle ensued, and with the help of the barber, Runt was able to dispatch this person. That frightened gnome barber then pleaded with the party who had all come in to see this scene of bloodshed to flee the city. He was already nervous about a string of murders that had occurred. He was very frightened by this, and they packed the corpse of this halfling into a crate, proceeded to gather horses and head out of the city in pursuit of Wart Hollow and 3 armed and protected Grey Patriot wagons. They found themselves heading south from Keep Sorrow, crossing an intersection now deep into the Cormanthor forest on the Dumathampter Road, which runs parallel to the river of the same name. Night fell. The party was forced to take shelter and make camp, and most of the party now sleeps, while Kane and Rogar sit talking by the fire. Geen and Rogar sit talking by the fire. Thank you very much. And that's where we're going to pick it up. So the fire is crackling away. Your colleagues are snoring. And the night is yours.
It's easy to forgive someone, but it's hard to forget an action. How do you propose that we go about doing this?
I mean, you've been with Runt the longest. Were you not aware of her actions before?
That was out of self-preservation.
Was this not the same? In her mind, she was helping us. We should at least talk to her, get her perspective. Should we wake her?
Let her rest. We'll have time in the morning. But other things that we should consider are names like Goro. And if you could possibly elaborate upon this Momoe, that would be helpful.
Goro is my mentor from home. He worked for my family, taking care of our gardens, and he taught me many things. His daughter's name was Keen. She passed away years ago. And when I left, I decided to drop my name, which was Momoe, and take up the mantle of Gin in order, I guess, to have some sort of feeling of courage to find my sister. This is the first time I've left home so far. Everything just happened so quickly. Goro helped me leave, and I thought I would do right by representing his daughter. But I didn't know that he knew Clara. She never told me. He never told me.
It was said that he would come around the next full moon.
New moon.
New moon.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know what his motives were with Clara. So I'll just have to ask him then, I guess.
When we all speak in the morning, who will you be?
I'll still be Gin for now. But once I find my sister, then at least I'll feel like some part of home with her.
Your story is safe with me for now. Thank you for entrusting it to me.
I figured you'd be very understanding. You seem very wise.
I've only walked this land for 6 short years. People confuse the age of a dragonborn with the age of other mortal races.
6 human years?
Indeed.
That's very short.
We grow very big very quickly, learn countless times faster.
Are you okay being out here, away from others of Helm? Is this your first time being away as well?
It is. And you ask questions of the soul. I know for a fact I have at least the journal to return, and it's my hope that we'll come upon a temple eventually. But yes, I do miss the Brotherhood. But he of the all-seeing eye is watching over us at all times. The gods are always strange in their ways, but they're always watching over us.
I wonder if my gods are watching me from all the way here. I wonder if they understand everything that goes on here.
I don't know if this offers any solace or if this causes you to further deepen your worry. But you can't hide anything from the gods. I think it's time that I go ahead and stretch out now. Need to be ready at first light.
Do you think they'll hate me for what I did today?
Lying flat on my back, staring straight up at the boughs of the trees. No, not hate. They can be like petulant children themselves. There was even a time when many of them walked the earth in mortal form, in punishment. They fight, they squabble. They understand your soul. That's what you should concern yourself with the most. Good night, Keen.
Good night.
As Rogar turns over, does Geen choose to wake either of the other two?
I'm going to wake up Kane real quick. I'm going to go over to where he is and get down low and just kind of poke him awake.
What? Geen?
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what I did today.
Okay.
I understand it was not very kind to do without your permission.
Yeah, it was. And I hope in the future I'll be able to forgive you. I really do.
I understand. I'll take much more care in the future.
That would be great.
Sorry for waking you.
It's fine. You have a good night's sleep.
Good night.
Good night. And head back to sleep.
I'm gonna sit near Runt and I'm just gonna meditate for a little bit, staring at the fire. Maybe like 30 minutes, an hour, and then I'll go to sleep.
Okay. So at this point, all 6 in the party are asleep, one more than the others. We have the 4 of you. We have the gnome barber is asleep. And of course, we have the halfling in the box enjoying the longest sleep. Several hours pass. And the sun begins to rise. The night has passed uneventfully. When you awake, or as you begin to stir, you smell actually a delicious smell wafting through the low grass. The grass is covered in dew. There's light haze coming from the forest, and the first thing, I'll let you decide when you wake up, but the first thing you smell is a savory scent on the air. Go ahead and roll initiative for me. Real fast.
Yay.
We got to do this eventually, so we'll do it now.
Sure.
Oh, 19 plus 120.
23 for Geen.
Oof.
12 for Rogar.
Correct.
15 for Runt.
Great. As you wake up, you're the first to rise, Geen. If you choose to look over, you'll see that next to the fire, Bill Corrin is there, and he is tending something over the fire. He's cooking away. He'll notice you waking up, unless you're trying to stay asleep or looking like you're asleep, and he'll say, "Good morning. I've made breakfast. Come, please."
Good morning. Before I go over to him, I'm just going to check my stuff and see if I still have everything.
So what are you looking for?
I'm looking for my swords, my bow, my arrow, and my little pouch that has my my meditation bowl and the lock of Claire's hair and Claire's bag.
Okay.
All of that stuff.
Sure. You're able to look through this, and everything seems to be there.
Okay. So I'll put all of that stuff on, and then I'll go sit near Bilk.
Sure. Bilk will hand you a willow bough that he's carved and cleaned, and you can see upon it there are a roast apple, and there's also a roast tomato. Strange little combination, but there it is. And hands it to you, and he says, "I hope you like your breakfast." Kane, you're the next one to rise, and you can see the two of them sitting by the fire.
Morning.
Morning.
I've made breakfast. If you'd like, come join us, please. We've got a long road ahead of us.
I head over to the fire and I take one of the steaks and start eating it.
Skewers.
I mean,
Sure.
it's skewer steaks.
Sure. Yeah. Great. And what would you be doing? What would both of you be doing by the fire as you're relaxing and getting yourself up in the morning?
Reading my book.
Reading your
Just,
book.
going through my spell book, making sure everything's okay.
Okay.
I'm not eating yet. I'm just holding it, and I'm just kind of watching Bilk.
Sure. You can see Bilk is picking at one of the things, tasting it, turning it over, letting it caramelize. Seems quite intent on making them just right. It's got them stuck into the ground on their long end, and he's tending them around the small fire, around the coal bed.
This reminds me of fish from home. They would put it on a stick and do the same thing near the fire.
Runt, you're awakened to this scene going on in front of you.
She's sleeping with her back to a tree if there was one possible
Okay.
around. So she would probably wake up, give a big look around, see if anyone's looking at her.
Oh, yeah, if we heard that.
See your friends look over their shoulder.
And she's gonna just like sit with her knees folded up, just kind of pout.
Are you hungry?
Maybe.
I'll offer her my stick of apple and tomato.
She'd walk over and grab it and smell it. Do we have any meats?
I don't know. Do we?
You can check your bag. You may have the odd bit of ration left, but all of you know that you're running quite low on provision in this sense. We'll say, for sake of argument, that there's nothing but some hardtack in the bottom of your bags at this point.
Shrug my shoulders.
Bill Corrin would say, "We've got meat, but I don't think it's anything you want to eat." Rogar, the four of them are sitting around the table, around the fire. At this point, you can see Bill Corrin takes one of the stakes, another one of them out of the ground, and hands it to you, Geen, and says, "You shouldn't go without eating." And then he'll pick up one of the other steaks for himself, and smaller apples on it. He begins to eat it.
I'll
eat all of it.
approach the fire and sit next to Runt.
She's gonna immediately.
Nose in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna nudge Runt with my knee.
What's wrong with your knee?
This isn't the first time you've behaved like this.
I don't know what you mean by behave. What you mean behave?
With your attitude. Back in Baldur's Gate.
I did a very nice thing for you yesterday, and you've just been mean ever since.
It's not mean, Runt. It's concerning.
She's gonna get up and just walk, kicking at the dirt, looking for any sort of grubs or anything like that she can find, because she's looking for some food.
Oh, she's still got the stick that Geen gave her.
Yeah, she's not into that. She's looking for some worms or something like that.
Okay, so she starts to look for some ground fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Corrin comes over to you, Rogar, and says, "Don't be too hard on her. I know good people. I know you're all good people. She gave him a choice. She asked him to leave you alone. I just thought you should know that." And he hands you one of these skewers. It's the larger one.
You want me to talk to her, Rogar?
I knew that she would offer him a choice.
Maybe she just got scared. I mean, that Minotaur did come very quickly. She might have heard him and just made a split-second decision.
Those often are the worst. But yes, please. You develop a way with her that has become quite impressive.
She kind of reminds me of me at her age. Without the killing part, of course.
At this point, as Geen, if you head over to Runt, Bill Corrin begins to scuff the fire closed, and you can see him walk over, and he saves the skewers that those of you have eaten off of, and he might be needing these, and he cleans them off a little bit. He goes over to the box where the gnome, or pardon me, the halfling's body is, and you can see him replace a few of the tomatoes that he didn't use into the box, and throw the rest of the skewers in there, and rope the lid back down, and brush away some flies, and then begin to pull that box back over towards the horse, and you don't know quite how he got it down by himself, but he's struggling to get it back up. Wizard or
I'll help
or
out.
Dragonborn, I don't even know your names. Can one of you help me out here?
Ahlupiot? And I'm gonna grab the crate, heft it up there, and I'm gonna say, Kane, Rogar, Geen, Runt.
Thanks. Okay. We have a ways to go. We should help them along the road, and so you can see that he's busying himself to get his pack ready and make sure he's got what he needs. Geen, you've walked over to Runt, who's dining at a tree stump.
I'm gonna sit down next to her with my little tomato and apple and just start nibbling away.
Can I offer her a worm or something when I see that she's still eating the tomato and apple? That's not going to make you strong. This will make you strong. You need to be strong.
I think I'm strong enough for now.
Okay. But this tastes much better.
Picturing you just.
That's kind of the vision I had, yeah.
Okay, so you sit quietly for a spell, and you can see that the others are readying the horses. The camp is now broke, and the horses appear ready.
Bilk told us you gave him a choice. Is that true?
Who, the halfling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I said, hey, you shut up and leave town. Or else. And he said like, screw you. And, so I killed him.
You killed him just because he said that?
No, I killed him because then he can't tell nobody and then we don't get in trouble.
What do you think's going to happen if that Minotaur finds out the halfling's gone?
Hopefully he comes after us and then we can kill him too.
Do you solve all your problems by killing?
It's just, how do I explain this? So, like, where I come from, we solve all our problems with killing.
Where you come from, but what about here? Do you think they solve all their problems by killing here? I know where I'm from.
No, that's why they have so many problems.
So we should be more careful about who we kill, and then we'll have less problem?
Yeah, you just got to be safe about it. And see, now, if we leave the body there, and if everybody knew that I killed him, then that'd be bad. Then everybody be like, oh, get the girl. But nobody knows, so we're okay.
But they'll know that Bilk left, and then they'll
So
wonder...
we should kill Bilk too?
No.
Oh.
No, but I'm just thinking there are some things that might maybe have a small chance of coming back to us, but might be very small.
This is very confusing. Like, so am I supposed to ask before I kill anybody? I'm supposed to find somebody? Like, no one was there.
I know. And Kane was on his way there, and I stopped him, and I shouldn't.
No, you did a good job, because now we don't have the halfling followers say, here, give us money. Bah.
Well, we should have listened to what Rogar and Kane said to him and find out if their solution was better than killing.
Okay, so next time I will listen to their solution, and if I think that they're stupid, then you and I will talk, and then we maybe do the stabby, yes?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
We just have to remember that whatever we do, especially killing, whatever consequences come upon it, is going to be on all of us. All four of us. Maybe Bilk, but we'll hopefully get him somewhere safe. But all four of us. So I know you like to kill, but maybe we should all come to some sort of agreement about when and where these things happen.
Okay, so when we can, we say, who votes for kill? And when we can't, then I got to use my best judgment.
Yes, we'll go with
Okay.
that for now.
All right, but I got to tell you, my judgment leans towards the stabby, so
I know.
okay.
But at least we should talk, all four of us, after we get Bilk safe and come to some sort of understanding of each of our ways of coming to a solution.
Okay, Keen, you're ruining my breakfast.
I know, I'm sorry. But we should be heading out soon. So finish up quickly, okay?
Yeah, I can still ride with you, yes?
Yeah, if you want,
Okay.
you can ride with me.
All right
But
then.
you need to also have some time to talk to Rogar about what happened. I know you two are
waiting
close.
on an apology from Rogar. So when he's ready to apologize, then maybe we can talk.
Well, maybe he doesn't see it that way. Maybe he thinks you should apologize.
Maybe.
I know you care about him, like I did with Clara. So don't wait long
look
to
at
talk.
look at the time. We're going to be late. We should go. Yes, let's go.
We should go.
We
Come
should
on.
go.
Mounting
I'm
your
gonna
horse.
Finish
ahead.
the rest of my food on our way back to the horses.
Sure. Runt, you've got a few snacks crawling on your sleeves, I'm sure, and a few stashed in your pocket.
Yep, she's all about it.
Yeah, awesome. So up you get. You begin the southwesterly trip down the Duathampa Road, and it's well into the morning. Saying you left the camp shortly after daybreak, a few hours after daybreak. You're on the road around 7 o'clock. You are traveling down the road, and come around 11 o'clock. You see a burned out wagon on the side of the road. It looks like it's been there for weeks at least. No sign of smoke or anything, obviously, and the grass is beginning to grow around it. It seems like an unfortunate accident to see a covered wagon. It's like a wooden covered wagon, if you know what I mean. Gypsy wagon. You continue down the road, and at that point you do reach this rougher track. Looks like a much more ancient road, old cobble appearing, but very dense forest in and around it, and this is the Harrowdale Road, which stretches to the east towards the city of Harrowdale, first having to cross the river Duathampa, and if you go the other direction, which is northwesterly, it would take you back up to the road that you've been towards, which would be the road from Ashabenford to Hillsfar, that where you were traveling on one of your very first trips together. A few hours into this, the noonday sun is high in the hills, and you can see that there are crows gathered around a mound in the grass. They're off to one side in a small glade, and the brush is quite foreboding. It's you're going through this hallway of trees, but you see it quite clean, quite plainly in front of you. You see this mass of crows fighting over something, and as you near it, indeed you can smell the smell of death is in the air, and these birds are jostling for position as they peck on whatever carrion is a few yards off the roadside. As you continue to ride towards it, Geen, I'll assume your riding order would be the same as what you can declare it if you like. But there are Yeah. So, who would be in the lead at this point? Lead horse. Bill Corn is at the front.
If front's okay, we can be up front.
Okay. So with you and Bill Corn up front, he's the one pony, the riderless pony is behind him, and then taking up the rear is Kane and Rogar. Geen, you're the first to spot that what they're pecking at looks like bare human flesh.
Bill, stop. I'll turn and I'll say to Rogar, it's a dead body. Do we continue?
Hold the line. Kane, take a look around.
Yeah. I want to get a good look at the body first. I might be able to see if there's something there.
Sure. You lower it down. The body is relatively fresh.
How was it strung up by rope, or was
Nope.
it just hanging on by the tree branch?
It's piled
It's
there.
piled.
Yeah. And when you get closer, you realize that it's actually two bodies. The bodies appear to be stripped almost naked. There is there are no weapons, no boots. They're two men, and you can see that there's puncture wounds all over their bodies, and both of their heads have been stoved in.
Brent, are you sitting behind me or in front of me on the horse?
Behind.
Behind? Okay. Then when I see Kane walking down to the bodies, I'm just gonna have an arrow ready.
I'm
kind of pull it and not draw it back, but just have it at the ready.
I'm gonna check the puncture wounds. Can I tell what kind of weapon and or blade was used on it? Like if it was like a dagger type blade, or was it like a great sword?
Sure. Roll investigation, please.
Okay, investigation. 16.
These are arrow wounds.
Arrow wounds.
The puncture wounds are crude, small arrow heads, but not something that would be from a bodkin or something that you would have been familiar with. Not a finely crafted arrow. Looks more like something that is formed of crude steel or flint.
Does it remind me of the arrows from back when we were at the old part, like the village by the beach?
No, kobolds are many things, but they're also quite the craftsmen in their own right.
Okay.
This looks like something more primitive than that.
Got it. Is there anything else I can tell about the body? Is anything I can notice, or somewhere around the bodies, like footprints?
Well, one of the things you notice right off the bat is you see a strange brand on the back of the neck of one of them, and you recognize that this is a similar brand that you've seen before. It is a brand of someone who's been in prison before. The other thing that you see is among the bodies there's the odd bit of clothing that has been left, and one of the things that has been left is a torn and ripped gray cloak.
Okay. Sorry, I'm writing this down. Okay. Do I notice any footprints around the perimeter of the bodies, near it?
You see the grass is all patted down. Feet, primarily, and you can see that the grass is patted down. You also see that whatever was there is a fairly high number of footfalls.
Okay.
And that they head back into the forest. They came from a forest and kind of did this loop back into the forest. And
All right. Is the grass muddy at all? Can I tell how heavy one of them was, or not?
No, you can tell that the grass is covered in dew. You can tell that when this happened, it didn't happen in the night. So
Can just look around at the trees and say, I don't think we're safe here. And I want to take out my spear of lightning.
javelin of lightning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we find a way around?
Around the bodies,
Well, I'm telling this to everybody.
please.
Do we find a different path? Or keep going?
Is there a different path?
No, this is the main road.
Let's continue to ride.
Should we ride faster
It
or
wouldn't hurt.
slower?
Kane
Bill?
takes a
Is that okay? To ride faster?
I think it's a good idea.
Then we should go.
You kick your horses into a trot. And, sorry, Kane.
I'm gonna take a bit of for my golem. I'm gonna take a bit of cured leather, put it against myself, say a couple words, and cast mage armor on myself.
Good. You ride at a fairly high pace. Are you pushing these horses as hard as they can go, or how hard are you pushing the horses?
I don't think we'd be riding at full pace, would we? Like maybe below that a little bit?
Sure.
Because I wouldn't want the... How tight is the crate on the pony? Like, does it look like it's going to fall off?
No.
Okay. Okay. It's not that... We're not that far from the ferry, so maybe not like full pace, if that's okay with everyone. But, faster than a trot.
So off you go. You begin to push the horses in a faster pace, and they're eager to get away from this smell. You continue down the path, and you are about an hour away from that scene, and now the noonday sun is starting to abate. You figure it's about 1 o'clock, and you continue to dodge through the trees. The road is twisting slightly, and you're going up and down some hills and valleys. Then, way off in the distance, as you begin to get a little bit of clarity, you can see that there appears to be a large wagon stopped in the middle of the road. There is it's right in the middle of the road, and as you get closer, you begin to hear the telltale sounds of metal on metal. You begin to hear the telltale sounds of arrows whistling through the air and thunking into the wood of this wagon. And as you break into a straight view of this, you can see that there are figures huddled behind the form of this wagon. There is two wagons, in fact. They've been jackknifed into a V, and there's a horse standing in the middle of them. There appear to be 2 or 3 men, maybe 4, in amongst these wagons. The one wagon is tall. Again, it looks like a farmer's wagon. It has rags over the top. You can see that there are figures dodging back and forth behind that scene, and whoever is there is fending off a foe. You are 300 yards away. You can get there quite quickly at a fast sprint.
As soon as I would notice that there's fighting, I want to shout out to Bilk, pull off into the forest. Assuming that there's trees around us? Or is it...
You're beginning to enter into sort of a wider expanse. There's grass on each side of the road here. And as you do, you see that there are forms standing much shorter than the wagon itself, and they're coming out of the copse of trees and firing off arrows and throwing spears and then dodging back into the trees. And they're little dark forms that keep coming out and standing quite. The grass is quite tall, so they're weaving into the grass.
I just want to get Bilk, however far we are from that place, him and the other pony just kind of off to the side and away.
Sure.
And just tell him, stay here. And I'll look to Kane and Rogar and kind of with this look of, should we go? Should we stay?
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going?
Uh,
All right.
with the heavy horse that I have, I'll ride into the midst of the tall grass.
Sure.
Is the grass tall?
The grass is fairly tall. It's sort of that low scrub that you can find on forest meadows and whatnot.
Yeah.
The grass is only, in places can be 1.5 feet tall, and there's a ditch on part of it. It's a little boggy.
Okay.
Okay. So who's heading in? Rogar? Kane?
I'm going to turn back to Runt and say, do you want to get off here and get there on foot?
I'm gonna dip off the horse and do a little somersault, then take off running, kind of at an angle, so I could see around, what's on the other side of the wagons.
Are you heading towards where you've seen these figures come out of the forest, or on
Yes.
the other side? Okay,
Yes.
so you begin to head towards these figures, and you're arcing around.
Stealthily, if possible.
Sure, you were able to do that quite well by running through the edge of the forest. There's lots of cover and brush that you can work your way up quite quickly.
Before I get over there, I want to get off my horse next to Bilk and say, do you have something to defend yourself?
Just my razors.
Okay. Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Stay here, stay low. We'll be back.
Don't leave me.
I need to help them.
I understand. I can hide, but don't leave me.
We won't leave you.
Okay. Rogar, as you and Kane are charging towards this scene, you're starting to come up on it. You can see that one of the archers he sort of looks at you, regards you, has to make a split decision of whether or not you're a threat, then reverts his aim back towards the forest, lifts his bow up, lets one go, and you can hear a yip in the forest as something is struck by the arrow that he's just loosed. He says, "Come, help us!" You hear him speak. As you come upon this, you see that there is a man with you have an elf in front of you, you have a man in front of you, you have a woman in front of you, and you have two people that are down. One of them, as you near him, you can see quite plainly who it is. It is the Fletcher that you had purchased arrows from back in the Keep Sorrow. He is sitting there. He has 2 arrows, crudely made arrows, something that would have offended him in life, and he's staring at them blankly, and you can see that death has taken him. The other person in a gray cloak is clawing his way deeper between these wagons, where you see an elven archer letting go volleys, and an ancient-looking man, well, not ancient, but he's 75 or so years old, is there, and he's got a sling whirring overhead, and he's managing to let off bullets as fast as he can. You also see a woman trying to tend to this man and hauling her back, She has a woodsman's axe with her, and she's pulling the Grey Patriot back into the relative safety of these two wagons. Help us, please, says the elf to you, Robo.
Whirling the horse around, I'll charge into the grass amidst the small figures.
Okay. As you enter those small figures, you quickly see that this is a band of goblins. They are fairly thick. You in there, there's several bodies lying there. Immediately in front of you are two goblins. One is farther back in the trees. That one is sporting a bow. The two in front of you are both wielding axes and clubs.
Okay. The first one that I come upon, are we going initiative?
The initiative order is.
We're going to use the one from before.
We'll keep the one from before. So you are moving towards them and charging at these goblins.
Using the giant warhorse.
Using the giant warhorse.
Yep.
Geen, you were the first to be able to act.
Okay. So, just so I understand, the wagons are in the center of the path, and there's attacks from both sides?
There are bodies on both sides. The attack appears to be coming from the more northerly side, which is to your left. The track has widened. The forest is still thick on both sides, but now you have about 20 to 30 feet of grassland around the road as this islet opens up, and the islet is longer than it is wide. It's quite a long open space. You've come out through the trees, and this wagon makeshift fort is almost dead center in the middle of this. It's far to the next narrowing of trees as it is back.
Okay.
And this ambush has taken place. Yeah.
I'm gonna cross the path to get into that kind of area where the goblins, I guess, are coming from, and try to get on that side, and then push forward. And as soon as with my movement, would I be able to get close enough to take a shot at them, or no?
You can take a shot from horseback.
I can take a shot. Oh, I got off my horse.
Sure.
I left my horse with Bilk.
Sure, you are in range.
And then I went on foot.
Yep, you are in range of your longbow.
Okay, then whatever goblin I guess I can see that's closest to me, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna shoot at him, and I'm gonna use my Kinsei shot for my bonus action.
Sure.
Where do I? Wait, is my bow? One bow is the okay.
Feel free to roll
Yeah.
attack and damage.
That's 16 to hit.
Oh yes.
Okay, and then that's terrible. That's 6 damage.
Right. Okay. So you are able to hit this goblin quite handily, and the goblin spins on its feet and is dropped to the ground. You're not sure if it's down for good, but it's spun off its heel.
Okay.
The other one does not appear to notice that you're there.
Okay.
Kane.
That's my turn.
Okay, I'm going to write up. I'm going to see how many goblins there are.
3 that you can see.
3. All right, I'm going to cast Magic Missile at 2nd level.
Mhm.
So that's 4 darts. I'm going to have 2 of them go at one of the goblins, and then 1 to the other 2, and then 1 each to the other 2.
Okay.
So for the one with the 2 darts going at it, that'll be 7 damage to the one that's taking 2 darts.
Okay.
And 2 damage to one of the other goblins, and 3 damage to one of the other ones.
Okay. Well, there was only 2 immediately standing in front of you.
Okay,
having
then.
Geen, yeah. So I'll give it over to both. Look bloodied at this point, quite severely.
Got it. And I'm just gonna scan the area, and then that's my turn.
Okay, Runt, you are approaching this scene. You can see that there are still 2 standing. You are not quite within melee range at this point.
Heading towards the tree line, can I see if there's any more?
Since you are looking at the intently, you don't immediately see any more in the tree line. However, through the trees, scattered up, you can see a ridge which is farther off, and there is definitely movement above that ridge, and the movement appears relatively robust. The other thing is, as you spin on your heel, you can see past the wagon to the other side. There's the indication of movement there as well, since you're looking at this.
Okay, I want to. I guess. How far away am I from everyone else?
You can get to the with your next movement. You can get to the wagons fairly quickly. You can run either direction. They're about an equal distance. You can run to Rogart. You can run to the wagons.
I want to head towards the tree line to see if I can try and find more goblins that aren't immediately visible.
Deeper into the tree line you were already at?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. In you go. You can head towards that motion if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
All right.
Towards the mass. That's what I'm headed for.
You can't immediately pick it out, but you can head towards the sounds that you begin to hear as you're heading into the wood.
And I'm trying to keep my eye out for whoever looks like they're in charge of this attack.
Sounds good. Okay. Rogar, your horse has come upon these, and as you're charging in on them, the archer has now taken 2 magic darts. The goblin most closest to you was struck and dropped by Gein's arrow, and you can see that it's hit him squarely in the neck, and he is bleeding out. There is another goblin in front of you, holding a sharpened spike at you, and trying to get low enough to it. You can see his side is scorched by Kane's missile.
How many of them are there in front of me entirely? 2?
2 that you can see in the grass.
Okay. I am going to do something I've yet to do. I'm going to round the horse and turn it sideways, and I'm going to breathe fire upon them.
All right. You are able.
It's a dex save. Dex save versus 11.
He, in his kneeling position, is unable to move out of the way, and your breath hits him and his sharpened wooden pike.
Okay, both of them take 10 points of damage.
Both of them are immediately incinerated. Whatever life they had left in them is quickly extinguished. And you can see that the immediate threat in the grass is now quelled, right? When you look back, you can see that the elf is looking nervously, and then he lifts his bow and he begins to point it the other way, and he begins to point at the far forest wall. You can see the older man is down talking to the woman, and they've pulled the horses deeper into the V, and they're looking nervously up over the sides of these wagons. Drums begin to echo down into this wooded valley that you're in, this wooded saddle of land. You can hear that there is some sort of force mustering within this forest on both sides. Cat calls begin. Snarling, yipping, both sides. And whatever is coming through the woods. They're not at the wood's edge yet, but they are coming, and they're coming hard.
Riding up to the elf, I'll ask, is that the only horse that you have?
One horse was hit. Help me, we'll move his body in for some cover.
I don't think we're going to have enough time for that.
We're gonna need all the cover we can get.
We need to get out of here.
Get your people. Maybe we can make a break for it. I'll have to try to get this man up with us. 4 of us. We can't ride one horse. Bill Corrin is now there with him. He has both the horse with the box on the back of the pony and the pony he himself rides. What are we doing? What can I do to help? He says. Kane, you are at the wagon side. Geen, you are still in the grass, I take it, unless you're choosing to move.
Did Bilk get my horse?
Bilk has left, did not heed your advice. He, as soon as he saw these goblins dropped, he made for the wagons.
Okay.
People.
Then I'm gonna dash, and if I need to spend a key point to step in the wind, I'm gonna get back to my horse,
Sorry, pardon me. Bilk has your horse. We'll say that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So no, Bilk has gathered the horses, and he is now there. So you can run back to the wagons as well.
I'm gonna go after Runt, because did I see where she went? Because she went deep into the forest.
No, you don't see Runt.
Okay, then I'm gonna dash up to Rogar and say, are we fighting or are we going?
We're going.
Before you can answer, a group of 8 goblins emerge from the far wood.
Oh my God.
They are running hard. They are running hard for you. They've got a number of different weapons. One throws a javelin. It thunks into the side of the lower of the 2 wagons, now on the right of when you had arrived. You see one of them in behind is riding a giant rat, and he is sort of skirting the side of the wood, looking for an opportunity to fire his bow and follow it up. And the 8 goblins now are closing the distance on the wagons. Geen, you may act.
How close are they to us?
40 feet, 50 feet, closing.
Oh, then I'm gonna take a shot at whatever I think is the one that's most dangerous to us right now.
Sure.
And since they're still out there, I'll go ahead and I'll add my Kainsei shot to that too with my bonus action.
Okay.
Ooh, that's nice. That's 24 to hit.
Yes.
And that is 11 damage.
You take that goblin square in the chest. He is definitely bloodied. He coughs up blood, and he is paused for a moment, deciding if he wants to continue his charge. His 7 compatriots, though, all begin to pile in. Kane, you see this unfolding in front of you.
All right, I'm gonna ride to the carts, and as I turn, I front face the goblin horde. I'm assuming there's like a couple of them that are within 120 feet.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Scorching Ray at 3 of them, casting 3 rays outward.
Okay.
Okay, so for the first person, that's a 10 damage to first one. Second ray, that'll be 8 damage, and for the third ray, that'll be 7 damage.
One remains standing. The other 2 are burned. They stagger for a moment and drop.
Awesome.
The grass around them begins to burn.
I just realized it was 3 rays, not 1. And that's my turn.
That's fine. 4 more continue their charge. 1 now badly burned. We are at you, Runt. You are deep in the woods. You can see that you can hear that there's something else going on behind you, but in front of you on the ridgetop, you see a contingent of goblins. They're also mounted. 3 of them are mounted on giant rats. 1 is mounted on a giant weasel. There are foot soldiers surrounding them. It looks to be a party of somewhere in the order of 12 strong.
Okay. I want to try and bluff them. I'm gonna walk up to them and goblin as soon as they can see me. I want to say,
If you're wanting to be apparent, they immediately see you
okay.
and they begin to sort of snicker and snarl and move their mounts in and around you, and they start to form a semicircle in front of
All
you.
right. Okay, so trying to bluff them, I'm gonna say in Goblin, okay, who's in charge here? Hello, which one of you stupids is in charge?
That would be me. And a large goblin steps his weasel closer to you. For a goblin, he's fairly well muscled.
It would be you.
What do you want, tasty treat?
You guys are so stupid. Do you know who I work for?
No.
Have you guys do know about the giant that lives in the forest, right?
Yeah, we know of giants.
Okay. I work for said giants, okay? And
What does it-
giant, listen, just pay attention, okay? I'm going to explain everything to you. Okay, so there's this giant, right? Big, scary giant, right? He tells me, hey, I work for this dragon. And this dragon tells me, hey, you need to get some workers to go steal stuff from people on the road, right? Okay, so people on the road come, and then I sneak and I left out the most important part. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, see, and natural 20 on my bluff.
Okay, good.
I'm not really a little girl. I'm really a goblin, just like all of you. This is an illusion so that I can be sneaky, and you guys are screwing it all up.
They seem perplexed. A few of them, when we look at all of them, are looking to their leader, absolutely confused. The
Oh
leader...
my god, you guys are so stupid.
Yeah. Just speechless. As am I. We need more proof than that.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Who are you to these people down here? These men.
Hello. I tricked them so I can be sneaky, and I can sneak in, and I can steal the things, and I can kill them. But you guys are screwing the whole thing up with this big attack. What happens if they run away now, Then you get nothing. Then you look stupid. Then Giant be mad at me. Then Giant tell Dragon. Then I tell Dragon. I say, hey, is this stupid goblin on the weasel? It's all his fault.
The one dragon, the one goblin looks like he doesn't know how to react. He's buying it for the moment.
You know what? Maybe I should just be in charge. Okay.
No little girl is gonna. What? Don't listen to her. What? And you can see that his anger is building in him. Come with me, and he rallies his people, and he says, "This way!" And he races them back down the outer side of the ridge that he's on, back towards the direction from whence you came, and you can see that he's going to muster his people. We'll be back. We need to ask some questions of our leader, and he begins to force his weasel forward. So they are now breaking. The 4 riders are breaking away from you. The rest, the 8 footmen are standing there, and they're not quite sure what to do. They start to meander sort of away from you, kind of holding their sticks out, not sure what to make of you. A few of them that seem quite nervous begin to move quite quickly. But for now, you've got them scattered.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything as they turn tail?
Shouts, this is a very good decision. You may live longer than I thought.
We'll be back.
Oh, that's not a good idea, but okay. If you want to be stupid, that's fine. But, whatever.
You can see them head over the top of the ridge, and there's a larger mass up there. You can see that there's something larger moving around.
Larger?
Yeah. Large. You can only sort of see the top of he disappears over this dark ridge, and then you can hear a large snarling voice. Whatever it is, it sounds offended. Rogar, you are now in the next to this wagon fort, and we still have the remaining goblins charging from the other side. The one who has the mount, the rat, has begun to move closer and skirt around, looking for a shot. Indeed, he does let an arrow off. Rogar, you are struck at that point with an arrow. It finds some purchase between your armor.
Am I next to Rogar?
You are.
Can I use my reaction to try and catch it?
You can.
Okay.
Catch that arrow.
Yeah. Let's see. So I need to roll a d10. Plus 7. Alright. That's 10. So how much damage did the arrow do? Or is that enough?
4 points.
Okay, then I catch it.
Yep. So you catch this short, crude little arrow fired from a short bow, and you're able to save your friend from it.
I'm just gonna break it with one hand in half
Good.
in front of the goblins.
He doesn't like that at all. He ditches his bow, and you can see he takes out an axe, and he rounds his mount, looking at you now on foot. Well, so Kane, again, we have several goblins in front of you.
Okay, I'm going to say, hey, stop! Don't move! I'll turn you all to dust.
The goblins, in common, you're trying to intimidate them, so you see them, you hold up your hands. Go ahead and roll intimidation if that's okay.
I mean, they can I get advantage since they saw me literally
scumbags.
burn up these
Sure,
friends?
I'll give it to you.
All right,
use
cool.
your bean.
A natural 20, and on the other guy's a 1.
Right.
So
All but one of them turn tail and head into the cover.
it's a 21 in total, if that matters.
No, I think they're suitably scattered. And they turn tail and they begin to run back in. Whether or not that's to regroup. The one on the rat is still heading for you, and the one that was severely burned with the last assault is still there and has decided to move forward.
So if you say so, and magic missile,
Okay.
first level. So I'm gonna say 1 at the one at the person who's mostly damaged, and 2 at the person who's the least damaged. So for the least damaged, that will be 5 damage, and for the most damage, that'll be a 2 damage.
The war boss takes those hits, and the other also actually takes those hits. The war boss does continue his charge to you, and he will act next. So, pardon me, not next. He's already attacked. The other throws his axe, his hand axe, and he is going to throw it at you, Kane. but it lands harmlessly behind you. Okay, and he's now axeless. So
Awesome.
We are now back to the elf. The elf goes ahead and misses a shot on the war boss's rat, as does the sling of the old man, who's now spinning it again. Loses it. Does not land another hit. The younger woman at 26 moves out in front and swings her woodsman's axe, catching the rat squarely in the side and dealing a rather robust hit to the rat. So she's now standing between the rat and you, Rogar, on foot, has come out from behind and clocked this rat square. So we now, and the rat looks quite hurt. Back in the wood, Runt, are you still standing where you were?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm waiting to see if they're going to come back.
You hear before you see large footsteps heading towards you, heading up whatever hill is obscuring it from you. And the two goblins that are next to you start to snicker and giggle a little bit, and they say, Droll's gonna find out all about you, I think.
Who's Droll?
That's Droll. And you can see this gray ogre's head coming over the hilltop. What's the meaning of this, you hear?
Are you in charge?
Oh, no.
He's still a little far away to engage in conversation. He doesn't seem intent on talking.
You're in charge!
You'll see how in charge I am. And in his slurred broken ogre speak, you can see that he's beginning to, swing this huge club.
Okay.
Okay, Geen, you have a wounded war boss in front of you.
Is Dragonborn going to get the chance to go?
I'm sorry, did I miss you? Then yes. Of course.
Okay. The woman that you said that I'm next to, who had the pluck to take the axe out and attack, I will attack the rider while she attacks the
All right.
That is a 15.
Yep. Yes.
And that is 5 slashing.
Okay. Thank you. He takes the hit. You can see this one has better armor than you would expect from a goblin. He's able to absorb that hit. Tries to reel his mount way to get position on you. I'll go ahead and we'll say we're back at the top of the order. So Geen, you're right next to this happening.
Oh, okay, so they're right in front of us.
Yes, you're in the middle of a fray because, of course, you were diving at Rogar's arrow, so you're right near him.
All right, bow goes away. I'm gonna pull out my long sword and whatever. Which goblin is in front of me?
You are in front of the rat and the goblin rider.
And the rat is damaged, and the rider as well. Which one looks more damaged, the rat or the rider?
The rat looks much more damaged.
All right, let's get him off that. I'm going to take a swing at that rat.
Okay.
With my longsword and hopefully kill it. That is 13 to hit.
And you do.
And that's 6 damage. Oh, no, not 6. 9 damage.
And indeed, you sever the head of this rat. The goblin hits the ground and has to take a bit of a battering as he's spilled from his mount.
Okay, I'm gonna use
But
a
he-
key point for my bonus action and do
Mhm.
flurry of blows on his face.
And
So first hit is 10 to hit.
you do not hit.
Okay, so that's the first one, and then the second one that's much better. 24 to hit,
You definitely hit.
and that is 6 damage.
All right. He is bloodied as you lay into him. Kane, you are faced with an axeless goblin in front of you who is looking very much like he wants to turn tail, and the war boss off to your left.
I was gonna look at him. I take out my javelin of lightning and I'm gonna throw it at the war boss.
Okay, and you do.
That will be 13 to hit.
It does not hit. No bonus on that. So
Oh, no bonus. So
no.
damn it,
I mean, you have no bonus with that one.
Oh no, I have a bonus to hit. So it'll be 14 total to hit, and if it hits, it's a D6 plus 4.
Sure. No. So you don't actually hit him. Your magical javelin slams into the mud next to him.
Damn.
Runt. The ogre now is heading towards you.
Okay.
And I guess is possible for something as stupid as an ogre. He's managing to look. Maybe he wasn't quite as elegant as I played him before, but he's heading up there and he's grunting at people, and you can see that he's threatening them to sort of press the attack on the wagons.
Okay.
He's like motioning at you as if you're just this insignificant girl, and he begins to pick up his pace as he starts to thunder down the hill towards you.
I wanna get in his way and say, "Stop!" in Goblin.
Okay. This particular ogre happens to command goblins, and he has enough to know that. So he begins to listen to you. So you're trying to intimidate an ogre. So I'm going to have you roll anyway because he's pretty intense and intent on turning into jam.
Well, I'm trying to persuade him now because I want to tell him something different than what I told the other guys.
Okay, sure. We'll say in that case then that he's curious enough he's going to stop. Go ahead, and what would you like to say to him?
Okay. I want to say, hello, Olga. So, okay, you're probably hungry, yes? You're very hungry? Yeah, you're always hungry. I know. My best friend's an ogre. I know, okay? So, if you wait and you don't attack all of us right now, I happen to know that we passed a whole group with the moo cows that were coming down the road that way. So if you're like, what is there, like 2 or 3 people to eat down there? But if you wait, there's all these cows coming, and you can hit them. You can attack them. That's a much better idea. And you can show all your goblins just how smart you are.
He is in the middle of his attack here.
Okay.
As much as he, is either listening or commanding these things. He, go ahead, try to persuade him.
Oh God, this is gonna
Because-
be awful. What
Well,
is my
it's-
persuasion? It's probably abysmal, actually. That was +1. All right.
I'll give him my inspiration.
Has to be within. Does he have to be within?
No, just I'm going to
Just
give
inspiration?
it over to him.
All right.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Let's-
hope so. Well, the first roll was an 11 +1, so let's hope this is a
And-
little bit higher.
And I'm gonna, with Because we're talking intelligence, right, against persuasion. So I'm right there, please.
I think it's wisdom.
Oh,
for-
well, either way, it's an ogre. Yeah, he's perplexed as much as the other were. At that point, the one with the
With
weasel.
the inspiration reroll, I got a 19.
Sure. I don't think you had to burn it. Because what was your first roll? Your first roll was
12.
yeah, and he didn't do well. So he's
Oh,
he's,
okay.
he's it wouldn't have he's troubled. He's but I'm also going to give him another chance just because he is mid battle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's not looking convinced. I'm going to say
Okay.
that.
That's fine.
And now the one on the weasel is sort of coming in behind and going, "What's this about cows?"
Get the cows, they're down that way.
Yeah, you were talking about giants. What's this about cows?
Well, you weren't listening to the giants because you're too stupid. So I was like, maybe they're like cows.
Okay, so here in this about 20, 30 feet into this forest is this 14-year-old blonde girl talking goblin to, now she's got an ogre and 4 mounted goblin around her, as well as a couple of spear wielders. And-
I want to say, hey, if I was just a regular human girl, would I be dumb enough to walk into the forest and be like, hey, goblins, hey, ogre, let's have a conversation?
I'm going to give you one more round of confusion
Okay.
as I contemplate what to do with it, because I'm as confused as they are. Yeah, Rogar, you this war boss is in front of you, bloodied but standing.
Yeah, he's got to go down. That is 13 to strike.
Yep.
Okay,
that
and,
doesn't hit. Pardon me.
Oh, all right.
That'll glance. With that, the archer will fire again, and he will in fact hit the goblin, and does not take him down. The woman with the axe now turns her attention to him and swings wildly, and the old man with the is not having any luck with his sling. So that takes us back to the top of the order. Geen, you are there with your blade.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and I'll take another swing with my longsword
Mm-hmm.
at the guy. Oh god, almost fell off. 16 to hit
And you do,
and 8 damage.
and he is near down. At which point he turns on you, and he will roll
So-
for. Go on.
Oh, okay. So he's still not dead yet?
No, he's not dead
Oh,
yet.
can I use my bonus action to do another flurry of
You
blows?
may. Pardon me.
Yeah. All right, 2 more shots at him. So I'm gonna try to punch him, and that's another 16 to hit,
It does.
and that is 5 damage. Is he still up?
He is not.
Okay.
No, he is not. You've collectively pummeled this guy into the ground.
Is there
before he
another
could get-
one nearby?
Only the one that's now running, burnt to a near crisp with no weapon. He is following
Oh, he's running?
his friends
Okay.
back through
Okay.
to the woodside.
Okay.
And no one seems intent on him. The fight in front of you appears to be over. However, the elf turns his bow back to the other side and says, "There's movement in there. They're speaking in there."
And now we have time to go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Unlash
Rogar,
your horse. Yes.
where's Runt?
Runt. Runt.
Runt went into the forest over there. That's what Bill Corn says, having seen her from the moment that she dismounted and headed.
I'm
into the forest.
dashing in there.
Okay. The distance is 40 feet roughly to around the wagon and to the tree line.
Okay. I'm gonna run
and-
in there.
I need to get my.
And 40 feet and my
The elf and female choose to. The elf and the young woman and the older man tend to are staying with the wagons. They begin to scan the side of that you just finished your fight on. You are, Geen, you are heading towards the
Yeah.
on
I'm
foot.
just gonna double dash, whatever I gotta take to get in there.
Okay, so you're double dashing. Rogar, you're on horseback still.
Yes.
Okay.
Riding along the tree line, shouting Runt's name.
Okay, you begin to shout Run's name. At which point the ogre is hearing this, the goblins are hearing this, and they're looking at you, and Runt. They're seeing this motion behind you as shadows cross the sun gaps in the trees. Kane, where are you in all of this?
I was by the wagon, or where I was by one of the goblins. I was going to turn tail and run, and Kane is gonna. He threw his javelin. I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride towards my javelin, pick it up, and go back to the wagons.
Okay, so you're at the wagons. Runt, at this point, this ogre is confused, but he's not enticed by the cows, and he says,
We can get cows later, he says. He says, you now.
like this, and he'll begin to come down with his one free arm and his clubbed arm in an attempt to grab at you. Okay, so he's going to attempt to grapple you.
Okay.
So he may not want to outright destroy you anymore, but he's certainly not going to let you impede his progress.
Okay.
As I'm running in there, just to say, I'm putting my longsword back in and pulling out my bow.
Okay, good enough. Will you roll acrobatics or athletics to evade this for me?
Definitely acrobatics. Oh, I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll that.
Okay. What did you get?
I got an 11 total with that one.
All right.
So with my inspiration, okay, that's better. 19.
Okay. He swings over you wildly as you roll off to the side. All right. But now he's also not very happy, and the least convinced of the pike goblins that were next to you now has decided he too has had enough, and he was never really shaken from the start. So he thrusts forward with a sharpened spike at you.
Okay.
But he does miss you, and he hits the ground next to you. Okay.
All right.
The remaining goblin that was standing there on pike also will begin to move into an aggressive stance. He hasn't quite attacked yet, but he's positioned. Okay, he's hold action. All right. At this point, the mounted weasels and rats, the three rats and the weasels, look at the shadows moving across the front of the trees, and they make for it. Rogar, you being on horseback, and Geen, you dashing in, immediately see this ogre standing in the background. Something happened in front of them, and 3 mounted rat goblins and 1 mounted weasel goblin charging at you. Okay, dodging in between the trees, kicking up the leaves at the base of the trees, crumpling whatever fern is there, and this snarling, slinking weasel is coming at you, Rogar. The rats are 2 of them are heading for you, Geen. Okay.
Okay.
So, Keen, you may act.
I'll take a shot at whichever one's coming at me, and
Right.
same thing. Bonus action, can say shot.
Okay.
That's 15 to hit.
And you do?
And that's 9 damage.
Okay, that was on the
Whichever one of the 2 riders that was coming towards me.
great. That rider actually is pinned from his mount, at which point the rat seems to lose interest altogether and, still snarling, peels off to the side while its partner heads towards you. The rat on horseback is going to, or on ratback, pardon me, the goblin on ratback is going to toss a spear at you, a javelin. It's going to go ahead and miss wildly.
Okay, good.
With it hitting a tree next to you. Rogar, the one with the weasel is ahead of you. The weasel begins to bite wildly at your horse. However, doesn't seem to be having much luck if your horse is back and trying to defend itself. The one on the back has got a long axe and begins to swing at you. He does not score a hit immediately. The other one is positioning again, reeling around, trying to get on your other side. Okay, so he's still moving, and at this point, Kane, you see nothing from the wood side. All right, nor do you see anything from either end. You are hearing, though, a fray inside the tree line. Runt, you have landed on your shoulder. You are on your feet. You have 2 pikemen in front of you, and you have an ogre wondering where you are and why aren't you in his grip, and he's now got you in his sights. What do you do next?
Okay. Can I see Rogar and Geen from where I'm at?
You can. They're off to your left now as you are looking down from the direction you originally rode in from. They're on your left at the tree line. You can see them through broken branch and trunk that they're engaged with these mounted riders that have peeled off from you. The ogre is in front of you. You have 2 pikemen.
Okay. I want to turn and shout to Rogar and Geen, I vote we kill these guys! And then I'm gonna try and use my daggers to cast Misty Step and appear in the opposite direction of where Rogar and Geen are, like depending on where the ogre's at. I want to be to where he can see me, but I'm far enough away that he can't take a hit at me. Does that make sense?
The opposite direction from the two
Geen
of
and
them?
Rogar, yeah.
So he's more or less facing them. So you want to go behind him?
I want to go behind him and like try to get his attention.
Okay. And you
Be like, hey, stupid, what's up? I'm over here.
all right.
Good done.
Let's convince that ogre. So you Misty Step in behind him. How far in behind him?
Far enough that he's got to move to come attack me.
Sure. So you are now, I think Misty Step is 30 feet or 60 feet.
30.
So 30 feet. So you are now 30 feet behind that ogre, give or take.
Okay.
And you are up on a grade, the grade that he came down on, and you are yelling wildly, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All
Come get me, stupid smelly dumb ogre.
right. Go ahead and just give me one, I guess, persuasion.
Ooh. Not good. 4.
4. He looks at you, regards you, and it looks back at Rogar, the larger target, and decides to head straight for Rogar. So he is now flat out, and the 2 pikemen look at you, but then flank him and begin to charge alongside him, trying to drive right at the center of your friends.
Okay.
Okay. Rogar, you can see over the head of the one that you who dropped him? Geen, you dropped him.
Yeah.
So the one over the weasel, you now see this lumbering hulk coming towards you. The goblin on the with the axe is there. Okay, so Geen, I think we're on. Nope, Rogar. Pardon me, Rogar. It's your attack.
Okay. I will. Do I see that I'm also being charged by just about everything else in the forest?
You have a flanking rat. You have a weasel in front of your horse. You have a ogre past the weasel, and and of course, both the rat and the weasel are mounted. And Geen is sort of behind you and off to, having dealt with one of the two charging her, and if you were really paying attention, you can see that Runt is up on the hill, just behind the ogre's shoulder.
All right. Well, if I'm
She's
close
yelling
enough-
wildly like this, right?
If I'm
What
close
about me?
enough to the weasel, I'll attack the weasel's rider at an 18
Hit.
with 8 points of damage,
Okay. Very hurt.
and at the same time, I will put Shield of Faith upon myself.
All right. And the Shield of Faith, so we're all
Is
aware,
going to increase my AC by 2.
by
That's
2
my
to
bonus
to
action.
20 total. Okay. Hello, Mr. Tank. So, you have done such. We are now top of the order. The ogre has closed the distance and will attack next round. The rat-born and his rat both fail to attack you and your horse. The weasel-born will attack and fail to hit as well. The weasel will nip. Geez, they're really not doing good. Geen, however, the one is attacking you, and he doesn't have his javelin anymore, so he is now drawn a scimitar, and he will hit. No, he won't.
Am I
He'll-
close enough to use my reaction to throw my shield down, blocking his
You-
blow?
You won't need to. He misses. So he just missed. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your ACs as we go here. And his rat isn't so interested in attacking as the weasel, so you get away with that one. We have 2 pikemen, though, however, are upon you, Geen. One swings wildly. The other one, though, is going to use his pointed short spear, and you will take 7 points.
Is
of
it
piercing.
possible to have had him reroll?
It
due
is
to
possible.
being disadvantaged, to where if I see it, I'll ride down and throw my shield down in its place?
So this is happening behind you.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So no, I would say you're out of position for that.
All right.
I think that is they will get that strike in, Geen.
Yeah.
For 7.
Okay.
Okay. That is the end of their turn until your next round. So, Geen, you now have this pikeman in front of you, these 2 pikemen, and a rat rider.
So wait, 2
2
people riding on
pardon
rats?
me.
I-
One
I
person
mean,
on a rat, 2
one
pikemen.
person.
Yeah,
What are-
the other rat had you killed the rider, the rat took off.
Oh, so the pikemen are just people on foot?
2-foot goblins with spears.
Oh, okay. I got really confused. I thought it was only 2 riders in the ogre. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, lots going on here.
And so these 3 things are in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what I want to do is I am going to, where are you? I'm gonna. Does it seem like I could, like, are they all 3 right next to each other, or is there space to dash in between them?
You've got this reeling rat in front of you, and you have the 2 coming up behind, sort of like in a triangle shape.
Oh, behind me. Okay.
No, behind him.
Oh, behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're sort of 3 abreast now, with the rat in the middle.
And the guy on the rat in the middle is right in front of me, like
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
melee, too close for a shot.
They're all
Okay.
tight. They're tiny. They're not large humanoids, right? So they're all sort of
Mhm.
in front of you, stabbing, poking, swinging.
Mhm. Okay. I'm going to blow another key point, my third one, for my bonus action disengage. You can't use that as an action to disengage, right? Only rogues can do that? Or
No, there's an action for disengage.
there's an action for disengage. Okay, then I don't have to use that. Okay, then I'm gonna
provoke? Yeah, and will it provoke opportunity?
No,
No,
that's because
so
it's an action itself.
Because it's an action. So there
Okay.
you go.
action disengage. I'm heading back towards where Kane and everybody else is.
Sure. So you're able
And-
to clear the tree line very quickly because you're only about 10 feet in.
Okay.
And
And I'm just gonna yell at them, goblins and ogre, in there.
all right, Kane, you see Geen come out of the woods, and she's right there. Okay.
Okay, I am going to go over to Geen, and I'm going to say, so what's the plan? Are we heading out of here soon with the carts, or?
Goblins and ogres, in there.
Yeah, and then they're right.
They're fighting.
And you soon see that they're right on her tail, emerging from the tree line. Next to you is the elf. Okay.
So where Kane is, I don't know if I've got any more movement towards him, or did I use all of it to get to him? Because you said it was only 10 feet.
You didn't use all your movement to get
Okay.
towards him. You popped out of the tree line. So you're 20 feet into your movement.
Can I get on top of a wagon? Is that possible?
How far can you travel in one round?
40 feet.
You can make it to the wagons, sure.
Okay, but I can't climb on or jump onto it, or
You can begin your climb, sure.
okay. Then I want to try to get on top of a wagon.
Sure. So you're doing that. Kane, is she past you? Is she past you now? Because you and the elf are standing side by side.
Okay, I'm going to cast Magic Missile and send a ball at the three of them, if there are three.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, and for one of them, it's 3 damage, 3 damage, and 2 damage for each bolt.
Okay. They are all still standing and continuing. They're not happy about it. Continuing their charge.
All
The-
right.
The elf throws his shot at one of them. He's able to get off 2 ranged attacks, and he hits. Pardon me. He hits the 2 pikemen, dropping one and hitting the other one squarely. The Rat Rider continues to charge in. Runt, you now have this ogre heading towards Big Daddy, and you are 30 feet, 25 feet behind him if you haven't moved yet.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna run up and stab him.
All right.
We gotta get out of here.
Okay, so you are now behind him as he is
Okay.
attacking one of your friends.
Okay, so
Now, can she backstab?
only if he's engaged with somebody else.
He is engaged as soon as next
Oh.
turn, so we're gonna say he is.
All right, so I have advantage, which means I do get my sneaky. Okay, so
And I do not have your new blades, so you're gonna have to tell me what.
yeah, I have them up here. Okay, so the first attack with advantage is a 23.
You hit.
Okay, and that is so 8, 10, and then 8, 10. Sorry, just gotta remember 8, 10. 8, 10, 22 points of damage total because I got double sixes on my.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just for the first attack.
All right, go on. You begin to see these things coming through around where his kidneys and spleen are. You're seeing these curious eruptions on the front of his around the front of his body.
And I rolled a 7 on both of the other dice, but with the plus, it's a 14 total. On
yep. Go 14 total damage and
no, to hit.
14 to hit hits.
Yeah, and it is 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage. He is severely wounded, but still barreling angrily now, kind of trying to shed off whatever this pain is hitting him from behind. It distracts him long enough, but he's able to take a swipe at you, Rogar. But with your 20 points of armor, he, even though it's a mighty blow, his spiked club bounces off your shield, right? Because he's kind of wildly flailing now. Rogar.
I will attack the ogre and meet him head on.
Okay, you're off your horse or you're charging?
Charging with the horse so that I'm approximately head height.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 15 to hit.
And you do.
Okay, and that is 5 damage. But then I'm also going to cast Searing Smite at the exact same time.
Okay.
And the sword bursts into flame with white-hot intensity and does an additional 6 points of damage to him.
A mighty hit does not have him down, but tears a giant chunk of cauterized flesh from his shoulder. The elf next to you, Kane, manages to dispatch the rider behind you, and Runt, where Geen came. Geen, we're with you now.
All right. So I'm getting on top of that wagon, and as soon as I get up on top, the goblins have closed in already.
Yes.
Those 3 that and.
The rider's down. There's a pikeman left who's...
Okay. Then I'm taking a shot at him.
Go ahead.
With my Kensei shot. Ooh, I'm rolling a lot of 19s tonight. 24 to hit. And 3, 6, 7 damage.
That drops him to the ground, and he is amongst the grass for a long, long time. The ogre is what is left standing. There, of course, are the 2 on... the weasel and the rat, right, which are still at your tail, Rogar. They haven't had much luck hitting you, and they have no more luck with your enhance this time.
The ogre, actually, I'm sorry, is actually on fire.
And he is. Okay, great.
Yeah.
How many points?
So,
what does he do per round?
At the beginning of his round, he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Of
versus a 13. Sorry.
Yeah, when he doesn't.
Okay.
His remaining few points serve him poorly as he drops.
He took another 6 points of damage.
New round. He only had 3 left, so he was. As he drops, you see. Pardon me.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask if it was okay for my oh wait, no, I can't use my bonus action because can't change. Never mind. Ignore what I'm gonna say.
As you turn, Rogar, you see that the weasel and the rat have bugged out. They are heading as fast as they can away from you. They have broken, and they are skirting back through the trees, weaving, yipping wildly, scared, senseless by what they've just seen. And as the ogre falls in front of you, you see Runt standing there, bone daggers in hand, having poked holes through this. The scene is, as we finish here, is Rogar standing facing Runt. Geen is atop the wagons, looking down as this old man and his daughter begin to relax slightly, and the Grey Patriot looks up at you, wondering what's happening. Kane, you stand alone. Pardon me, you stand with the elf in the middle of the field, And he looks towards you and he nods approvingly. And he says, I think we should get these people safe.
I agree with that fully.
Let's wait till Rogar and Runt get back.
With Runt standing there looking up at me, I will smile and reach down with a hand and offer her a leg up to get on the horse.
She is going to kick the ogre's dead body and then take his hand without saying anything.
Using the ogre's bloated form as a
It's a step stool.
as a step stool. All right. Where will you lead your horse, Rogar?
Slowly canter back to where everyone is to make sure everyone's okay. I know that Geen had taken a hit, and anyone else as well can gather around, and I can heal.
You see this majestic steed coming out of the grass with Rogar and Runt on the back, Geen and Kane.
I'm going to smile very widely at this image of Rogar and Runt on a horse.
I'm gonna move my horse a little closer to the wagon so I can put my weight against it and just rest for a second because I am tapped on spells.
Yeah. There are lots of bodies lying around you. Too many to count. Too many for me to count right now, but I'll get back to you. What's clear is that the people there are safe for now. You've extinguished the threat, and your route can continue. In your company now are 2 gray patriots and
son
2
of a
farmers.
bitch.
I
And
would
we
have
will-
jumped off that wagon and helped people into the wagon before getting
Sure.
on my horse.
The wagons will have to be mended a bit here, and I'm sure you will do that. So, with that, we are safe for another week. We'll be taking next week off. That's what we call it.
Oh, yeah.
We will
Yeah.
pick up your journey when we return. So,
That sucks.
in the 2
Mhm.
minutes that are remaining, we're going to go quickly around the table here, and I would like you to just tell us quickly what moment performed by one of your fellow players captured your imagination, and where would you like to drop your bean?
Runt's bluff.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
it was
Runt's
so
bluff.
bad.
Just imagining this short 14-year-old girl in front of an ogre.
Sassy.
Yeah.
Calling them stupid.
Okay, so
Nice.
Geen, yours goes to Runt.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Geen, Kane, and Rogar.
Everybody to Runt.
And how many beans were you sitting on there, Runt?
I think I just had the one for inspiration, or the. How many do we need again for inspiration?
5.
5.
5. So I had 5, and then I used my inspiration. So now I'm back.
So now you're up to 3.
Well,
Yes.
you're up to 3 now.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you have 1 to award.
Yes. I would like. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm gonna give it to Geen for trying to mend fences between Rogar and Runt, trying to, play the counselor.
That was excellent. It was really,
Yeah.
really good.
It was very well done.
And so 1 to Geen from.
So now I have 3.
Excellent. And we'll do the count next time. I won't give one away every time, but because I was absolutely dumbfounded, didn't know what to do with it, and was found quite unawares. Runt, you've got one from me too. I'll hand one out every once in a while. So
I was like, I'm
Oh.
gonna die.
If you would have rolled badly too, I would have given you my inspiration that I have. been
It's
holding
like
on
it's
to.
the equivalent of it's so stupid it might work.
Yeah.
I have to say, you tried it and it was close, and it was really tough. And I'm rolling for everybody in there to see who's
Yeah.
going to react to what, and trying to balance all of their opinions against their boss and their leader. And then you did it again, and with it completely, you're just like, okay, well, what about cows? So
Yeah,
anyway,
maybe they're
good,
hungry.
good on you. So
Thanks.
all right, we'll decompress next time. We will see you 2 weeks from tonight. Thanks very much for joining us. Hey guys, I wish you a happy 4th of July, happy Canada Day. have a great night.
Hooray!
Be safe with
Yeah.
fireworks.
Bye bye.
Safe
Yeah.
fires.
Yeah, safe.